What's up, folks? How you doing? Sitting here at the garden. It's a August evening, about 5 o'clock. Was just doing some weeding in one of the beds in the back there, and I had just done a video the other day talking about this direct seed sower contraption that I created, with the nails and then the pegboard outline for me to direct sow. But when I was doing it, I started to think about it and was like, well, this does work. It's practical. It works. I'm going to continue to use it. But I started thinking, what if I did the same thing, but I actually got the little wooden dowels? See that? So I've actually created another one using just the wooden dowels that you get at Lowe's or Home Depot or probably Walmart or big box stores in general. But it's 3 rows wide and they're an inch apart. So I'm actually getting 72 cells out of this one planter. It's 2 feet, right? It's 2 feet long by 3 inches wide. Well, actually, sorry, 4 inches wide, and I have 3 1-inch spacers in there, so they're all 1 inch apart. And I started thinking about my fall garden and what I could use this for. Now, this one's great. It's a little bit smaller. It was homemade out of some old pallet wood. But I started thinking about my fall crops, and especially with my leafy green stuff, that I can really plant this stuff close together using something like this, where I'm getting 72 cells out of every 2 feet by 4 inches. And I have a little small bed over here that you all saw back in the early part of the summer. It was a late planting that I did, and the bed is only 3 feet by 6 feet. But I started thinking about the math of it by sowing things like radishes, maybe some spinach, some leafy greens, mixed greens, lettuces, and then even sugar snap peas, because it's about time that sugar snaps can be direct sown in the ground, because we're getting close to the end of summer and they're a cooler weather crop. They die off in the hot summer sun, but they're also a fall crop. So I wanted to go ahead and bring you guys along. I'm going to go over to this 3 foot by 6 foot bed, show you what's there, and then we're going to go ahead and get it acclimated a little bit. I have some good leaf green mulch and soil mixture, conditioner, I guess you would call it. Get that all set up, and then we're going to start direct sowing some of my fall crops. All right, so this is the bed that we were talking about here. It's 3 feet by 6 feet, and it sits just off of about 12 inches of soil. I actually have some beans that I'm going to transplant out of here first. Cucumbers. And some squash. All of this is going in the compost. More compost. If you notice here, I have some beans. I'm actually going to transplant these in the back. And then what I like to do is I just take the flat edge, just try to level it out. Which will give me a nice flat surface to then start direct sowing. Definitely want to get these hunks out. So now you're looking at this row back here is the north end of this garden plot. And my plan here is to direct sow sugar snap peas along this whole back edge here. So push my jig down, give it a little wiggle to get any dirt off. And as you see, perfect seed holes for direct sowing the sugar snaps on this back row. And I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get 7, maybe 8 rows out of this. So I'll do the second one right next to it. Probably end up doing some sort of a leafy green right here. Give it a little wiggle. Comes right back up. Perfect holes again. Push it down one more time. This is going to be number 3. That's 4. 5. 6. Yeah, so we're going to get 8 out of this 3-foot bed. And this is the last one. Yep. See, it clumped up over here. So I'm going to press this one again. I didn't wiggle it that well. There we go. See, it'll clump up on you if you're not careful, but that's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and rake some new soil right on top of it and do it all over again. Much better. So we actually have 8 different impressions, 3 seeds wide, 24 in length, 72 cells times 8. I'm not a mathematician, but that is a lot of direct sowing in a very, very small square footage space. All right, so the first one we're doing here is let me get a better angle for you, burpee sugar snap pea. Like I said, we're gonna do this back row of 3. I've actually already germinated some of these in the garage that I'll do another video on that. But as you see, it's so simple that I'm just dropping peas right in the hole. And then all we're going to do is just throw some mulch right back on top. Excuse me, some compost right back on top. And this will give us 72 sugar snaps. We'll see what the germination rate is. I've had good experience with the burpee seed, along with Hoss Tools, Territorial Seed, and a couple others. But as you see, this is just so simple because all I'm doing is dropping it straight in these holes. And that's I didn't mention, it's actually a 1/4 inch width diameter on those wooden dowels that I use to make this jig. You know, and I find this actually really rewarding because I'm not sitting there randomly germinating all over the place and, you know, water might move it around. I'm dropping these straight into these jig holes exactly where they're supposed to go, spaced out evenly. So you know how you see those beautiful summer gardens, everything's in a row. It looks, you know, as neat as a cornfield can look. That's the effect that we're going to have here, only we're going to have it with sugar snap peas and some leafy greens. I just have 9 more to go. And the last 2. So tell me that's not a thing of beauty to have an even row, evenly spaced, to then just cover with compost and water straight in. All right, so I got these first 2 sections. Here's the 3 rows of sugar snaps, and then I did 3 rows of a French breakfast radish. It's a long red radish with a white tip on it. And guys, I gotta be completely honest with you. I'm usually not out here late in the evening. Sun is completely down behind the trees. I am getting eaten alive out here by mosquitoes, and I don't have any spray with me. It's part of being a gardener, I get it, but I refuse to be wide awake all night, scratching and itching and everything else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this bed exactly the way it is. And then I'll get out here tomorrow, which is a weekend. Today's Friday, so I'll have the whole weekend. And then I'll go ahead and see exactly how many we're going to be able to plant. But as of right now, I've only used 2 feet of the 6 feet. And I've done 8 wide of 72. So if we do 8, 16, 24. So we could use this jig for 24 impressions of 72 is what I'm going to plant in a small 3 foot by 6 foot bed only about 12 to 16 inches off the ground. Morning, guys. So, as you saw yesterday, the mosquitoes ran me out of here. But I'm back now. It's Saturday morning. I'm continuing to run across this back row here with the last of my sugar snaps. If you can see there from the camera angle, even though I have 3 wide, I'm not sure I'm going to have quite enough seed to go all the way 3 rows across. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to interplant on either side of the sugar snaps. I'm going to interplant some lettuce and radishes. So I should have enough seeds to go a single row all the way down. We have 3 over here. And then we'll still get the total amount of seeds planted here no matter what, which is 3 wide by 24, 72, and we're getting 3 sections of 72. And I had a 300 pack of sugar snap seed, but I'd already germinated some that I'll be planting here in the next couple days. And that's where we are. I'm gonna go ahead and continue planting all of these. It's time consuming, but what I'm looking forward to is the reward of having this much volume in such a small square footage, right? That's what kind of intrigued me to start this whole process in this small little 3-foot bed, is to be able to get that large, bountiful crop using such a small footprint. So I made it about 3/4 of the way across. So we have 72 here, 72 here, and about 30 all the way across. And then I'll show you, without my shadow in the way, all of these rows are still left to seed. I have, as you saw earlier in this video, that back row across here is 72 sugar snaps, followed by 72 radishes, and then I just put in 72 lettuce. And then I'm going to do another row of radishes, 3 by 24 again, and then I'll still have 4 more, because I've only planted 3 72 seed sections. And if you see here, that's how evenly these seeds are going to be germinated directly in the soil. So I'm excited to see the final results. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and continue planting here, but for the sakes of this video, I don't want to bore you with me planting all the seeds, but you see exactly what I've started to do, what I kind of like you would call like a brain fart, where it was a great idea, and yes, it's time consuming, but I think this fall crop right here on this bed probably has the most potential. It has direct sunlight, really, really great amended soil. There's, I don't know, maybe about 10 cubic yards of soil. No, 10 cubic feet of soil, sorry, with a layer of about 4 to 6 inches of mulch. And then, as you saw earlier in this video, I put down 3 bags of leaf grow soil amendment and mixed that in. So it's very, very high nutrient soil, rich. It's about 10 a.m. here. You see we're getting direct sunlight throughout the whole bed, all the way up until about 4 p.m. So sunrise right now is around 6:30-ish. It'll get a little bit later as the fall, as it gets later into fall, about a 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. sunlight. So you do the math there, that's, 8 hours, 9 hours. Yes, they're going to be a much more southerly sun, but as you guys know from this tree line here, the sun is down here to the south. That's the north. And this bed sits directly in the center of this whole array of raised beds. So I'm going to go ahead finish getting all these seeds in. And for those of you guys, if this is your first time, welcome to the channel. Try to give you guys updates at least once a week, sometimes twice. Gets kind of busy out here. As you see, we have all of this garden space that we're still taking care of, maintaining. We have, what, a whole bunch of butternut squash that are coming in. Really excited to get these out pretty soon. Some of them are still green, still have green peppers and squash. And then this back bed that you guys have seen before, that's where the groundhog was having lunch, dinner, breakfast, and snacks for the last month or so, until we finally was able to relocate the two groundhogs that we did catch. I'm sure there's more back here in the tree lines, but right now they're not messing with us. We have a trap set, so we'll see. But yeah, the garden is definitely starting to slow down. Beautiful marigolds, if you guys see here. Very tall marigolds as well. And still picking okra, still picking tomatoes. The squirrels are gobbling up tomatoes as they always have. But anyways, for the sakes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and get back over here to this bed. Get all of these, gosh, what was it? 72 in one tray, 3 trays long, and then 8 trays wide. So I'm not a mathematician out here in the garden, but I'll put it up on the screen. That's how many direct sown seeds are going to go into this one 3-foot by 6-foot bed. And hopefully in the next week or two, I'll start being able to film some updates so we can see what the germination rate is, and hopefully start looking at a beautiful harvest of sugar snap peas, lettuces, leafy greens, radishes. I have a whole array of seeds that we're going to plant here. And then I'll put up on the screen how I've arranged this bed. I have it in my head. I need to put it down on paper so I don't forget what was planted where. But I'll do that, give you guys a blueprint of, with this jig that I created, how you can probably do the same thing in your bed or your garden or your patio. So guys, for that, I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits on this video. If you could, like and subscribe, of course, as always. Trying to bring you guys, valuable content that you could use in your own urban garden. We're here in the middle of Washington, D.C., in the northeast quadrant of D.C., Zone 7. Everything's been doing great this summer. And I'll see you guys on the next one.